Hi, this is Obi with Rod Organics, and I'm here to give you a quick rundown of our compost tea brewing system. We've designed it from a 65-gallon horizontal leg tank sitting on a metal shelf with wheels. The tank is plumbed with a 3/4 inch shutoff valve for easy transfer of tea. The power behind the brewer is 2 air pumps, the large pump running an aeration system and the small pump running a water movement system. The small pump is a 45 liter per minute active aqua model and is run using the standard nipple fitting connected to an air hose. The large pump is a 110 liter per minute active aqua model. It's connected using a 3/4 inch hose surrounding the air hole where you would otherwise place a nipple. The hose is secured using a clamp. This ensures that the air movement is unrestricted. The rating on the clamp does not assume the included nipple fitting, so this is the only way to actually get 110 liters per minute out of this pump. At the end of the hose, you'll see I have some PVC fittings that allow me to easily connect and disconnect the aeration frame, which I'll be showing here in a minute. Now I need to install the water pump, which is airlift powered. An air hose running from the small pump is plugged into the bottom of this specially shaped frame. Since the hose will pump air into the PVC below the water's surface, as it rises, it will create a suction effect inside the PVC, which will lift and move the water aggressively, as will be seen later. Next comes the aeration system, which is a piece of PVC connected to some soaker hose. I've worked the fittings to ensure that the hose is in a figure 8 shape, which will provide the best total coverage for the bottom of my tank. The aeration plugs into a PVC fitting which is attached at the end of the hose for the 110 liter per minute pump. The final piece of the puzzle is the filtration bag, a 30 micron screen which is just large enough to allow the microbes out while holding the physical compost material inside. 30 microns is the same size as 30 mesh. If you were wanting a good filtration bag of your own, you would have good results on eBay by searching 30 micron mesh bag. We fill our brewer with reverse osmosis filtered water. Water quality is the #1 indicator that will determine compost tea quality. The water out of the tap here in Sherman, Texas has a pH of around 9 and total dissolved solids of around 800 parts per million. This is way too high for brewing good tea. Good compost tea needs a near neutral to slightly acidic pH with around 300 total ppms, including food stocks for your microbes. Reverse osmosis water is near neutral pH with 0 parts per million. I even prefer it to rainwater. Our homemade water tower is made from IBC totes plumbed with 2-inch drains. This makes moving water a cinch. Even with a full tank, the brewer is easy to move because it's on wheels. The steel rack can easily handle a full load of 50 or more gallons, although I'm only going to make about 40 gallons of tea today. After some final positioning, I plug the brewer in and prepare to give it a final inspection before brewing. This is the brewer full of clean water, ready to operate. We always run our brewer clean before we fill it with compost and food, as this allows us to fix any air leaks that might have sprung in the air hose since we ran it last. As we turn the power on, you can see how the PVC immersed in the filter bag is aggressively moving water. The soaker hose distributes the air from the 110 liter per minute pump evenly throughout the brewer, preventing any anaerobic spots from forming. The airlift pump is also creating some much needed bubbles inside the filtration bag, which will help blast the microbes off of the compost material and out of the bag into the tea. Now all we have left to do is fill our filtration bag. I start with some sea salts, which are a great source of diverse micronutrients. Then I add a little bit of lime. When using reverse osmosis water, it's important to remember that you remove all of the minerals from water, including the ones that are desirable, such as calcium. Life needs calcium to thrive, including microbial life, so we add in a little bit of lime. Now I add the main ingredient, compost. Today we're using Ladybug brand Revitalizer compost. This is a good store-bought compost and tends to produce some respectable tea. This is a decent compost for most hobbyist gardeners to use. Normally, I like to use a much higher quality product called Controlled Microbial Compost, or CMC, but today I'm out, so I'm going with store-bought. I use a total of between 5 and 7 pounds of compost per brew, depending on what and why I'm brewing tea. Today we're brewing fungus, so I'm adding about 7 pounds of compost. The final 2 ingredients are a little green sand and some enzymatically hydrolyzed kelp extract to finish off the food stock for the brew. Many people would expect to see some molasses in compost tea, but I would recommend against it. First of all, molasses is a sugar, which means it promotes bacteria instead of fungus. Bacteria eat sugars, and fungi eat lignins and humics. This is why fungi tend to be the main decomposers of woody material. Even in a bacterial brew, I don't recommend molasses. It easily causes a premature bloom of bacteria in the tea, which make the tea breathe more oxygen than we are replacing through aeration. This causes anaerobic conditions in the tea, which will make it stinky and unreliable. And that's about that. 12 hours later, we'll have a brew of fungus. How and why to brew different forms of life will be the topic of future videos. Thanks for watching.